Now, there's growing international concern about a possible Western military strike against Syria over its alleged use of chemical weapons that killed hundreds last week. Meanwhile, China is urging caution and calling for dialogue ahead of an expected military strike by the West. China voiced its support for a UN investigation into the alleged use of chemical weapons, and saying all parties should be more patient. Zhao Yunjie has the latest.
A nation and region on edge.
That chemical weapons were used on a large scale in Syria against civilian populations.
Western countries are weighing their military options against Syria. Last Wednesday's alleged chemical attack reportedly left up to 1,300 dead in a suburb of Damascus. For its part, Syria has denied all accusations, blaming rebels for the attack. Syria also warned any outside military intervention would create a ball of fire in the Middle East. Due to escalating tensions, the Chinese embassy in Syria has warned against traveling to the country and has called on Chinese nationals in Syria to take necessary precautions.
In addition to embassy staff, there are still 30 Chinese citizens in Syria. These people include students, workers in Chinese invested firms, and journalists. The embassy is closely monitoring the situation and keeping in constant contact with Chinese nationals in Syria. We have urged them to leave the country as soon as possible. Vehicles and evacuation routes have been prepared. We are also in touch with nearby embassies. We will do our best to ensure a safe evacuation for people in case of an emergency.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has called for restraint and calm from all parties. In an interview, Wang Yi says a political solution is the only way out of the situation, and the outside military intervention runs counter to the principles of the UN Charter. Wang notes that China is opposed to the use of chemical weapons, and it supports the UN inspectors conducting a professional investigation into their alleged use. Since the Syrian crisis broke out in 2011, China has always held the principle of respecting the sovereignty of Syria and consistently opposed interference and sanctions. In October 2011, China vetoed a UN Security Council resolution saying it opposes armed intervention in Syria. In February 2012, China again vetoed another UN resolution condemning Syria. In March 2012, former Chinese ambassador to Syria Li Huaxin visited the country as a special envoy, urging all parties in the country to halt violence and embark on dialogue. Zhang Yunjie, CCTV.